Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Today, I want to talk about something that affects all of us. Not death itself, but the way we live before it. The truth is, many people die long before their bodies stop functioning. They stop dreaming, stop growing, stop taking risks, and stop truly living. Living with purpose is one of the most vital aspects of a fulfilled and meaningful life. Yet many people go through life simply existing, caught up in the daily grind of routine and obligation. This lack of purpose can lead to a feeling of emptiness, a sense that something is missing even if everything seems fine on the surface. To truly live, we must learn to identify and pursue what gives us meaning. It's about more than surviving, it's about thriving in a way that aligns with who we are and what we believe. When you live with purpose, every action, every decision, and every day holds significance. Your purpose gives you direction and clarity, allowing you to focus your energy on what truly matters. It fuels your passion and keeps you motivated, even in the face of challenges. This sense of purpose drives you to rise above mediocrity and take risks, because you know that the journey you're on is worth it. Without purpose, life can become monotonous. You wake up, go through the motions, and fall asleep again day after day, feeling like you're just waiting for something to change, for life to become more meaningful. But that change doesn't come from the outside, it begins within. When you start living with purpose, you begin to make choices that are aligned with your values. You seek out opportunities that align with your passions, and you pursue goals that excite you. For some, purpose may come from their work, such as creating something that will have a lasting impact or serving others in a meaningful way. For others, it could be found in relationships, personal growth, or a commitment to making the world a better place. The key is to understand what drives you and what you care about deeply, and then to make that the focal point of your life. Living with purpose doesn't mean every day will be easy or smooth, but it gives you a reason to keep going even when things get tough. It helps you see challenges as opportunities to grow rather than obstacles to avoid. When you know why you're doing something, it becomes easier to push through the difficult moments, knowing that they're part of a bigger journey. In contrast, without purpose, challenges often feel overwhelming and setbacks can be discouraging. Moreover, when you live with purpose, you not only enrich your own life, but also inspire others to do the same. People around you begin to see your passion and determination, and they are motivated to find their own purpose. This creates a ripple effect that can transform not only your life, but the lives of those you interact with. It's about leading by example and showing that living authentically and with intention is possible. Purpose also provides a sense of fulfillment that cannot be matched by material possessions or temporary pleasures. The feeling of knowing that your life has meaning, that your actions are aligned with your deeper values, brings a sense of satisfaction that lasts much longer than any fleeting success or achievement. It's the kind of fulfillment that makes you feel truly alive, not just physically present. Ultimately, living with purpose allows you to make the most of your time. The time is the one thing we can never get back, and living without purpose wastes that precious resource. When you live intentionally, you maximize the impact of each moment. You approach life with a sense of urgency and passion, understanding that every day is an opportunity to make a difference. When you're living with purpose, you don't just want to fill your days, you want to make them count. Overcoming fear is one of the most crucial steps in ensuring that we don't die before our death. Fear, in its many forms, is often the invisible barrier that holds us back from living fully. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. These anxieties can paralyze us and keep us stuck in patterns of comfort and safety, even if they don't bring us happiness or fulfillment. The reality, however, is that the things we fear the most are often the very things that have the power to unlock our greatest potential. Fear is a natural response, and it's not inherently a bad thing. It's the body's way of protecting us from danger and alerting us to potential threats. However, when it becomes excessive, irrational, or misdirected, it can limit our possibilities. We begin to avoid risks, shrink from challenges, and settle for the status quo. We hesitate to step out of our comfort zones, not because we're physically in danger, but because our minds create narratives of failure and regret that seem more dangerous than the unknown. The key to overcoming fear is not eliminating it entirely, but learning how to manage it. Fear will always be a part of life, but it doesn't have to control us. When we allow fear to dominate our decisions, we are essentially letting it dictate our lives. But when we confront our fears, we often realize that they're not as terrifying as we once thought. In fact, the fear of failure is often far worse than the failure itself. We build it up in our minds until it becomes a towering, insurmountable obstacle, when in reality, the consequences of failure are rarely as devastating as we expect. Taking risks is an essential part of life, and when we do it, we often find that the rewards far outweigh the risks. Whether it's starting a new career, pursuing a creative passion, or taking on a challenging project, the fear of failure will always be present, but it doesn't have to stop us. The more we take action in spite of our fear, the more we begin to realize that failure is not an end, but a step on the path to success. Each failure teaches us something valuable, whether it's a lesson about perseverance, about what doesn't work, or about how to approach things differently the next time. Failure is not a reflection of our worth, but a part of the process of growth and learning. Moreover, fear of judgment can be just as paralyzing as fear of failure. We live in a world where it's easy to compare ourselves to others, to worry about how others perceive us, and to avoid actions that might make us stand out. But living in constant fear of judgment prevents us from living authentically and embracing who we truly are. The truth is that everyone faces judgment, whether it's positive or negative, and it's something we can't control. What we can control is how much we let it affect our decisions. If we choose to live based on other people's opinions, we risk living a life that isn't truly ours, a life that is shaped by the fears and expectations of others. The only way to truly overcome fear is to face it head on. This doesn't mean we should act recklessly or without consideration, but it does mean we must stop letting fear control our choices. When we acknowledge our fears and choose to move forward anyway, we reclaim our power. It's about taking small steps, building courage over time, and trusting that we are capable of handling whatever comes our way. We don't need to have all the answers before we take action. We just need to be willing to take the first step. Overcoming fear also requires a mindset shift. Instead of viewing fear as a sign to retreat, we can begin to see it as a sign that we're on the verge of something new, something worth exploring. Every time we step into the unknown, we expand our boundaries and increase our capacity to handle life's challenges. Fear, when managed properly, becomes a signal of growth, not a signal to hold back. By acknowledging and moving past our fears, we can unlock a life of greater freedom, possibility, and fulfillment. Growth is an essential part of living a full and meaningful life. The moment we stop growing, we begin to stagnate, and stagnation is akin to a slow death. It's easy to fall into the trap of complacency, where we become comfortable with the familiar and stop pushing ourselves beyond what we already know. But true living, the kind of living that leaves no room for regrets, comes from the continuous process of growth. To truly live, we must remain open to learning, evolving, and improving, not just in one area of life, but in all aspects. Growth means different things for different people, but at its core, it's about expanding your horizons, improving your skills, and becoming a better version of yourself. It's about challenging yourself, stepping out of your comfort zone, and embracing discomfort as a necessary part of development. When we stop growing, we begin to settle for mediocrity. We stop reaching for new heights, and as a result, we miss out on the richness that life has to offer. Growth, in its essence, is about progress, no matter how small. And the realization that we are always capable of becoming something more than we currently are. Personal growth isn't always easy, and it often requires us to confront parts of ourselves we'd rather ignore. It means facing our weaknesses, acknowledging our fears, and accepting that we're not perfect. But it's through this process of confronting ourselves that we gain the strength to evolve. Every time we challenge ourselves, whether it's learning a new skill, pursuing a dream, or facing a difficult situation, we are expanding our capacity to handle future challenges. We build resilience, confidence, and wisdom, all of which empower us to navigate the ups and downs of life with more grace and ease. In the context of personal growth, it's essential to understand that progress isn't always linear. There will be setbacks, failures, and moments where it feels like we're not moving forward. But growth doesn't stop during those times. In fact, those moments are often the most significant learning opportunities. Failure isn't the opposite of growth, it's part of it. Every mistake is a lesson in disguise, a step toward becoming the person we want to be. Instead of avoiding failure, we must learn to embrace it, knowing that each setback brings us closer to where we want to go. Growth also comes from continuous learning. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to fall behind if we don't make an effort to stay informed and adaptable. The knowledge and skills that served us well yesterday may not be enough to carry us forward tomorrow. Growth requires that we remain curious and committed to learning throughout our lives. Whether it's through reading, exploring new experiences, or seeking mentorship, every new piece of knowledge adds value to our lives. We can't afford to become complacent or assume that we know everything. The more we learn, the more we realize there is to discover. Another key aspect of growth is the willingness to evolve in our relationships and interactions with others. As we grow as individuals, we also grow in our ability to connect with others, empathize, and offer support. Our relationships play a crucial role in our personal development. They challenge us, offer different perspectives, and provide opportunities for reflection. Growth in relationships means learning to communicate better, understanding the needs of those around us, and growing alongside the people we care about. It's about creating environments where both we and others can thrive, which in turn makes the world a better place. Ultimately, growth is what keeps us moving forward. It's the fuel that propels us to achieve new things, to become better versions of ourselves, and to create a life that is rich in meaning and fulfillment. Without growth, life becomes stagnant and uninspiring. But with growth, every day is an opportunity to learn, evolve, and take one step closer to the person we are meant to be. When we stop growing, we stop living. Therefore, we must continue to seek new challenges, embrace discomfort, and never stop evolving, because the process of growth is the very essence of life itself. Taking risks is a fundamental part of living a full and meaningful life. It's easy to fall into the trap of playing it safe, of staying within our comfort zones and avoiding situations that make us feel uncertain or exposed. Yet it's precisely in the moments of discomfort, when we step outside of the familiar, that we have the potential for the greatest growth, learning, and achievement. The act of taking risks, whether small or large, propels us forward in life and ensures that we don't die before our death, but instead live with purpose, excitement, and passion. The fear of failure is often what holds people back from taking risks. We fear the unknown, the possibility of things not going according to plan, and the potential judgment from others. However, risk and failure are intrinsically linked. Failure is not the opposite of risk. It's a natural part of the process. In fact, taking risks increases the likelihood of failure, but it also dramatically increases the chance of success. The key is to change how we view failure, not as a defeat, but as a necessary lesson. Every risk taken, regardless of the outcome, is an opportunity to learn, adapt, and grow. When we play it safe, we might avoid failure, but we also avoid the possibilities that come with taking action. Success is rarely handed to us without effort, and it often requires a willingness to face uncertainty head-on. Taking risks doesn't mean making reckless or impulsive decisions. It means stepping outside of our comfort zone and doing things that challenge us. It's about identifying opportunities that align with our passions, values, and long-term goals, and then taking deliberate, calculated steps toward them. Whether it's starting a new business, changing careers, speaking up for what we believe in, or pursuing a relationship, risks involve putting ourselves in situations where we don't have all the answers, but where we trust that the journey will teach us something valuable. In fact, the biggest risks we face are often those that demand us to be vulnerable. Vulnerability, though uncomfortable, is an essential aspect of taking risks. It's when we put ourselves out there, expose our true selves, and allow ourselves to fail that we open the door to deep transformative experiences. Vulnerability allows us to embrace the uncertainty of life, and when we let go of the fear of judgment or rejection, we free ourselves to pursue what truly matters to us. Living in this way means we take risks with intention, knowing that the path we're on may not always be easy, but it will be filled with meaning and growth. Taking risks also allows us to discover who we truly are. When we constantly stay in our comfort zones, we never challenge our assumptions or explore our full potential. But when we step outside those boundaries, we learn new things about ourselves, what we're capable of, what we value most, and what we're truly passionate about. In these moments, we gain clarity and insight into the type of life we want to live. We learn how to navigate failure, how to adjust our strategies, and how to approach life with a sense of courage and resilience. Without risk, we are often left with a life that is static, predictable, and unremarkable. Moreover, taking risks has the power to inspire others. When we see someone take a leap of faith, pursue their dreams despite the uncertainty, or challenge the status quo, it sparks something inside us. It reminds us that we too are capable of living with courage and determination. The risks we take not only shape our own lives, but can also serve as a beacon for those around us. When we push ourselves to live boldly, we create a ripple effect that encourages others to do the same. Ultimately, the greatest regret in life often comes not from the risks we took, but from the ones we didn't. It's the dreams left unpursued, the opportunities passed by, and the potential never realized that we carry with us. Life is short, and time is precious. To truly live, we must embrace the unknown, trust in our abilities, and take risks that align with our values and vision. By doing so, we create a life full of possibility, excitement, and fulfillment. Taking risks is not about being fearless, but about having the courage to move forward despite our fears. And that is where the magic of life happens. Embracing the present moment is one of the most powerful ways to ensure we live life fully and avoid dying before our death. So often we get caught up in the distractions of the past or the anxiety of the future that we forget the only moment we can truly experience is the one right in front of us. We are constantly planning for tomorrow, reminiscing about yesterday, or worrying about what's to come. But the truth is, life is happening right now. When we spend too much time thinking about what's next or what's already happened, we miss out on the richness of the present moment. Living in the present requires mindfulness, the ability to focus on the here and now without being consumed by regrets of the past or fears of the future. It's easy to get caught in a cycle of planning for the next step, thinking that happiness or fulfillment lies just beyond the horizon. We say things like, "I'll be happy when I get that promotion," or "Once I achieve this goal, I'll feel accomplished." However, when we live for the future, we neglect the beauty and value of the current moment. The truth is, there will always be another goal to reach, another task to complete, and another milestone to chase. If we constantly look ahead without appreciating where we are right now, we risk losing touch with the very essence of life. The present moment is where life truly happens. It's in the small moments, the conversations with loved ones, the moments of laughter, the quiet pauses in our day. These are the moments that fill up, give us joy and meaning. Yet if we're always rushing forward, we fail to recognize how precious these moments are. Instead of waiting for some future event to bring us happiness, we should be seeking to appreciate the small things in our daily lives, recognizing that true fulfillment often lies in the simplicity of the present. One of the key ways to embrace the present is by practicing gratitude. When we take a moment to reflect on the things we're grateful for, we shift our focus from what we lack to what we already have. This change in perspective helps us become more aware of the richness of the present moment. It's easy to get caught up in our desire for more, but when we stop and acknowledge what we have in front of us, we begin to see that life is already full of beauty if we're just paying attention. Gratitude allows us to slow down and savor the experience of life rather than rush through it. Another important aspect of embracing the present is letting go of perfectionism. So many of us spend our lives trying to make everything perfect, whether it's our work, our relationships, or our image, and in doing so, we miss the magic of imperfection. Life is messy, unpredictable, and constantly changing, and that's part of what makes it beautiful. Instead of striving for perfection, we should embrace the imperfections, the challenges, and the unexpected moments. It's in these moments that we often find the most growth and meaning. Living in the present also means learning to let go of past regrets and future anxieties. Regret is a heavy burden to carry, and often we get stuck replaying past mistakes, wishing we had done things differently. But the past is behind us, and no amount of regret can change it. The only way to honor our past is by living fully in the present, making the most of the time we have right now. Similarly, the future is uncertain, and worrying about it only robs us of the joy of today. Instead of being consumed by what might happen, we must focus on the actions we can take now to create the life we desire. The present moment is where true connection happens. When we are fully present with others, we build deeper, more meaningful relationships. Whether it's spending time with family, friends, or even strangers, being present allows us to engage more fully in those interactions and experience the depth of connection that often eludes us when our minds are elsewhere. When we stop worrying about what's next, we can truly see the people around us, listen to them, and show up in ways that strengthen our relationships. Ultimately, embracing the present means making the most of every single day. Life is fleeting, and time is the one resource we can never get back. By living in the present, we ensure that we are fully immersed in the richness of life, that we are actively participating in the moments that make up our existence. Rather than waiting for some distant future to bring us happiness or fulfillment, we take action now to create a life that is meaningful in the present. When we embrace the present, we ensure that we don't waste our lives waiting for something to happen, but instead savor every moment, knowing that it is all part of the beautiful, unpredictable journey we are on. Living without regrets is often seen as one of the most powerful ways to experience a life of fulfillment and authenticity. Regret, when left unchecked, can weigh heavily on the heart and mind, keeping us trapped in the past and preventing us from moving forward with purpose and clarity. It's easy to get caught up in what we didn't do, the risks we didn't take, or the opportunities we missed. We think about all the things we could have done differently and wish we could go back and make different choices. But the truth is, dwelling on what could have been only robs us of the chance to create something meaningful now. To truly live, we must learn to make decisions that honor our values, and when mistakes happen, embrace them as part of our growth rather than something to regret. The first step in living without regret is making choices that are aligned with our true selves. Too often, people make decisions based on external pressures, what others expect, societal norms, or the pursuit of things that may seem important but don't resonate with our deeper desires. These choices may offer temporary satisfaction, but they can lead to long-term regret when they don't align with our authentic selves. To avoid this, we must learn to listen to our inner voice, our values and our passions, and let those guide us as we make decisions. By staying true to ourselves and pursuing what genuinely matters to us, we minimize the chances of looking back with regret. Making choices that honor our individuality leads to a life that feels purposeful and authentic, rather than one lived in response to external expectations. Another aspect of living without regret is learning to embrace failure as a natural part of life. Many people avoid taking risks or trying new things out of fear of failing, but failure itself is not something to be feared. In fact, it's often through our failures that we learn the most valuable lessons. Every time we fail, we gain insight into what works and what doesn't, and that knowledge is crucial to our growth. Instead of regretting our failures, we should view them as necessary stepping stones on the path to success. When we fail, we gain resilience, wisdom, and strength, all of which are essential ingredients for living a full life. By accepting that failure is inevitable and that it is simply part of the journey, we remove the power of regret from it and instead make it a learning experience. Living without regret also means taking action in the present rather than waiting for the right moment to do something. So often we put off things we want to do or think we'll wait for the perfect time to pursue a dream or take a leap of faith. But the truth is, there is never a perfect time. And the longer we wait, the more likely we are to let fear and uncertainty prevent us from acting. Every day that we hesitate or delay pursuing our passions or goals is a day we're closer to regret. The key is to start now, even if the circumstances aren't ideal. The act of taking small steps toward our goals today creates momentum and ensures that we don't look back and regret all the time we wasted waiting for things to fall into place. By making the decision to act, even if imperfectly, we are making the most of our time.